Hi, I'm Bob. We will continue to solve the exercises for Chapter 11, Monopoly and Monopsony today. We will address the last 5 problems for the Monopoly Profit Maximization section. Let's see exercise 1.11. We will use graphs to explain why a monopoly exits a market when its demand curve shifts to the left. As the graph shows, the monopoly's initial inverse demand curve is D1. Its marginal revenue curve is MR1. The monopoly optimum is E1, where the price is greater than the firm's average cost at that quantity. The firm makes a positive profit when the inverse demand curve shifts to the left from D1 to D2. The new monopoly optimum is E2. The price drops from P1 to P2. P2 is less than the average cost of the new quantity. The firm makes a negative profit. Therefore, it will exit the market. Let's find answers to exercise 1.12. Show why a monopoly may operate in the upward or downward sloping section of its long-run average cost curve, but a competitive firm operates only in the upward sloping section. First, we know that the marginal cost curve cuts the long-run average cost curve at its minimum. The downward sloping section of the average cost curve is above the marginal cost curve, and the upward sloping section of the average cost curve is below the marginal cost curve. Second, we know that a competitive firm faces a horizontal demand curve. Its marginal revenue curve is identical to the demand curve. The firm chooses an output such that the marginal revenue equals the marginal cost at that quantity. E1 would be the equilibrium if the market price is low. Since the price is less than the average cost, the competitive firm makes a negative profit and will not operate at this level. When the market price is high enough, the equilibrium will be E2, with a price greater than the average cost. The firm makes a positive profit and will operate in this section, where the average cost is upward sloping. By contrast, in the monopoly case, it is possible the monopoly operates in both the upward sloping and the downward sloping sections of the average cost curve. As shown in the graph, E1 is in the downward sloping part of the average cost curve. The price P1 is greater than the average cost at that upper level, and the monopoly makes a positive profit. If the inverse demand curve shifts to the right and the new monopoly optimum is E2, the price P2 is also greater than the average cost at that quantity. The monopoly makes a positive profit too. E2 corresponds to the upward sloping section of the average cost curve. Let's solve exercise 1.13. It is about the test of whether a firm is a profit-maximizing monopoly. they check whether it is operating in the elastic portion of its demand curve. Why is that a relevant test? What would the elasticity be if the baseball club were maximizing revenue? A profit-maximizing monopoly always operates in the elastic portion of the inverse demand curve, where the elasticity is less than -1. In this part, the marginal revenue is positive and equal to the marginal cost at the optimal output level. If the monopoly maximizes its revenue instead of its profit, then it will operate at a quantity where the marginal revenue equals 0. It is in the midpoint of the demand curve where elasticity equals -1. The above analysis is based on a monopoly facing a linear demand curve. Let's see exercise 1.14. Show that after a shift in the demand curve, a monopoly's price may remain constant, but its output may rise. In the textbook, we see a case where the profit-maximizing quantity remains unchanged, while the optimal price changes when the demand curve shifts. Now, we explore the situation in which the monopoly optimal price remains unchanged, while the quantity changes. The graph shows a shift in the demand curve from D1 to D2. It causes the monopoly optimum to change from E1 to E2. The monopoly price stays the same, but the monopoly quantity rises from Q1 to Q2. It illustrates the relationship between quantity and price is not unique in a monopolized market. A given price can correspond to more than one monopoly optimal quantity when demand changes. Let's find answers to exercise 1.15. It's about the reason the baseball team is not selling all seats. That is because the monopoly maximizes its profit by selling a relatively small quantity of tickets. We use the graph in the textbook to explain. For simplicity, assume that the marginal cost of selling tickets is constant at M until the stadium's capacity Q2 is reached, and that the fixed cost is 0. If the team sells all tickets of Q2, the price will be P2. The profit will be the area of B plus C. If the team limits its quantity at Q1, the monopoly price will rise to P1, and the profit will be A plus B. The monopoly profit is maximized at a lower quantity Q1, where marginal revenue equals marginal cost. For any more tickets sold, the marginal revenue is less than the marginal cost and reduces profit. Thank you so much for doing all the exercises with me today. See you tomorrow. Take care. Thank you for watching this video and subscribing to my YouTube channel. See you next time.